hands, both our elbows, both our knees, and both our feet on the ground. The trick to this is going to be setting your pelvis. So typically our pelvis is rounded, or maybe it is even neutral. We're going to try to posteriorly tuck this thing. So we're going to round it out backwards, taking my tailbone towards my feet, like that. I'm trying to round out my whole back. You'll feel your lower abs engaged. I would say lower abs. There's no such thing as your upper and your lower abs. It's just that they're all the same abs. You just have the part that happens to be lower. And we're gonna hold that core into it. So I'm not moving back and forth in this position. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm not moving back and forth. I'm gonna lock in and hold that. And then I'm gonna take my hands, my arms, and my knees, and I'm gonna push down as hard as I can. And I'm gonna really try to focus on breathing in through my nose for 2 seconds and out for 2 seconds. And I'm always just trying to pour more and more into your abs. You'll probably, especially at first, get a lot of shaking going on with this. Shaking is awesome. That kind of actually lets you know that we're really getting into some things here, okay? Then we're gonna flip over onto our back. We're gonna bench, a table, a chair, a box, whatever you have is fine. We're gonna lay on our back. We're gonna put the bottom of our foot, or excuse the back of our heel, the back of our foot on. We're not gonna be on the front, we're gonna be on top, okay? Preferably something that's pretty firm. And we're gonna hip thrust up and get a big, huge range of motion. We're not trying to go fast. I'm trying to leave this off leg relatively still, and I'm lifting my hips up, pause, and I'm trying to get that big range of motion. After that, I'm gonna stand on the edge of my chair here. Now be careful with what you have. So if it's a chair that's gonna move around on you, make sure that it's very, very stable. You want something that's about knee height, maybe a little bit lower. We don't even want anything that's really tall. And we're gonna work on exploding out of here. Now, if jumping or athletics and sports isn't your thing, you may want to concentrate on just doing a step up like that, okay? If you're comfortable with it, we're going to try to get more explosive and use our whole body and jump out of there. You can get a few light ones like this, and then let's try to get a rhythm of 5 or 6 without stopping and exploding up. Remember, those arms always go with your body. So if your body's going up, your arms go up. If your body's going down, your arms go down. Be quick with that. We'll run through that a couple times, no more than 6 to 8 reps on these explosions. So we have the 8-point plank, okay? Really remembering to posteriorly tuck that pelvis, keep everything squared up. Breathing through your nose, in through your nose for 2, out through your mouth, okay? We'll pour on the tension there, so you're never actually tucking hard enough. Keep that tension in the abs. We'll do our hip thruster, okay? Single leg, 8 to 10-inch leg, huge range of motion, control going up, control going down our eastern group as well. And then we have our explosive plyo steps again, plyo expansion each muscles. We're trying to wake everything up and get going so that we can be ready for 6. So we're going to start in a split stance. I've got my whole foot on the wall. Make sure that toe is pointing vertical, straight up and down. You're going to push off that wall so that you've got most of your weight in this front leg that's on the ground. I've got my arms outstretched and the sticks are on the ground. My arms are at the same height as my shoulder. I don't want to grab way up here at the top. I don't want to bend over and grab way too low. I want to grab straight out, okay? So what I'm going to do here is a slight bend in the back leg, get a little weight there. I'm going to push down with the sticks. I'm pushing down with my front foot and I'm pushing with my back foot as well. So I'm pushing with everything. I'm going to make sure that I continue to breathe the whole time. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Always breathe. And I'm going to start pushing harder. And I'm going to ramp it up over 15 seconds and I'm going to get to where I'm pushing as hard as I can. I'm pushing the sticks down. My foot on the ground is pushing down. I'm trying to push that wall over as hard as I can. You only get out of this what you put into it. So you can make this really easy, but if you want to make it worthwhile and worth your time and get something out of it, you gotta always push harder. We're driving. After 15 seconds, I'm keeping my legs still and I'm just lifting my hands off. And now it's all in my legs and it's all different. And I'm still reaching out long with the arms, but the sticks are off the ground. Lifting the sticks, I'm gonna hold here for 15 seconds. Same hold, going crazy with both legs, pushing that wall over, reaching those arms out, still breathing, always breathing for 15, and then relax. We come out of there. All right, so then we switch over to the other leg. Put our other foot on the ground, switch here, get your position. We're gonna go 15 and 15 again. Then we'll go back. And all we're doing is switching left, right. And we're gonna do this 2 times. Okay, take your time with this. Don't rush it, and you gotta pour a lot of intention in these isometrics. Again, you're really driving that wall over. When you think you're pushing with all your might, I want more. Whether I get more or not is really not even matter. I want you to try to push more. So out those 6 down, lift up, reach those 6 out. We'll do each side, right, left, then we'll repeat, do each side, right, left again. 15 seconds, driving the 6 into the ground, 15 seconds lift off, switch, repeat. For our second round in this glute workout, we're gonna be on the ground. Now, if you reverse hyper. I'm gonna assume that you know how to use it. There's a lot of easy videos out there for you to use. We use the reverse hyper here in this situation. I'm gonna show you something on the ground. A lot of y'all are probably doing this in your home, in a garage gym, or a small stadium. There's just not a ton of places that have these. Many places do, but most places don't. So if you can, use the reverse hyper on this, and then we'll go to our oh shit exercise, which I'll show you in a second. But first, we're gonna start off, I got this from my guard lead boys. We're gonna try to do what some refer to as a Superman. We're trying to lift all of our body off the ground. So I'm gonna try to literally squeeze my legs up, my upper body up, my arms up. If you have a ball, you can try to touch your ball to your back. Now we're not jerking, but we are trying to get a maximal squeeze. So on the ground, and we're just gonna try to lift up and lift every part of our body off the ground. More. Touch the ball back to your upper back and set down. Good. Ready to go again. We're gonna lift. Making sure that you're still breathing. You gotta keep breathing. Squeeze those glutes, lift those hamstrings, squeeze, relax. Good. We're gonna try to go a little bit further every time. 3, 2, go. Again, squeeze those glutes, lift those hamstrings, squeeze, lift those heels up, heels more. Good. Always keep breathing. Okay, we're gonna repeat that 12 times. Again, if you have the reverse hyper, I would actually prefer you to use that. Okay, make sure that we get that full global extension. You're trying to reach your chest up. Again, a lot of videos on how to do that, if you're wondering. We'll do 12 to 15 reps there, just like we're gonna do 12 to 15 reps there on those reverse Supermans. After we go there, we're going right into what's called an oh shit, one of my personal favorites here. Okay? We're gonna be long with our rear leg. So, get a very long stride. As you can see, my back leg is gonna be all the way straightened out. I'm taking my chest and I'm putting it on my leg here and I'm sitting into that. I'm gonna get comfortable in this position. I am gonna try to lean my shin forward. We don't wanna see a ton of forward back translation with the shin. And I'm gonna try to lift my hips up and then drop my hips down. Lift my hips up and drop my hips down. Notice that my chest is staying on my knee. I'm trying to balance out the weight in my foot, making my feet flat and wide, my toes. And I also drive through the heel for sure. My weight's balanced front to back, left to right. Lift the hips, and I'm trying to get greedy every time. Feel a big stretch, work here, and I'm squeezing this quad, getting a big stretch here, making sure that that leg stays straight. I'm gonna always breathe. It's my favorite thing to do. I do it all day, every day. Even on Christmas, kids. Always listen up. We're gonna do 15 on each leg, okay? So, again, reverse hyper, if you have access to it, you're a lucky human. If not, we're gonna do those Supermans. Full extension, pause, keep your breathing going. Okay, 12 to 15 there. 20 reps each side here on the oh shit. Make yourself, do this in front of a mirror, do this in front of a camera so that you can be honest with yourself. Make sure that back leg is straight, make sure that our hips are moving up and down, but that our chest is staying on our knees. There's a lot of ways you can mess this up. It's a long stride, this one burns. Have fun. Finish up, we're gonna go to the hyperextension. We wanna make sure that it's set with our hips right at the top of the pads here. Okay, so you have a nice good support. Our knees are not locked out, our quads flexed. They're just a little bit soft. They're not really bent, they're just soft and not locked down. Okay? We want our heels back up against the pad, keep your core tight. We're hinging here at the hips. So when we go down, the pelvis rotates. I'm actually, from the front of my leg, my hip flexors, I'm pulling forward, getting a big stretch here, the hamstrings and the glutes. And then when I feel that big stretch, I'm just gonna scoot back under and we get a big squeeze. Now, I don't need to jerk back up, and I don't need to go way crazy far back here at the top. Just a nice big squeeze. You may feel a little in the low back, but we don't want to feel it crazy, and we want to make sure that we are feeling the hamstrings and the glutes. Again, rotating that pelvis till I get that big stretch that I can still control, and then just move back up. Big squeeze, strong position here. You can also think about pushing those heels back into the pad at your feet, and that'll help get those hamstrings engaged as well. If you want to get a little more glute only, you can really round that upper back. Cool, just like that. And squeeze hard on that glute. That'll hit the glutes a little bit more. Just have a little bit of round. We can also hold a weight here. I like holding it close to the chest, giving yourself a big hug. Hold a plate or a kettlebell, whatever's best for you. At that point, we're going to come get down into a side plank here. Okay? Now, I'll show you here the profile view. See how my butt, my hips are behind where my elbow and my knees are. Okay, so that's my look here. I'm dropping those elbows and kind of hiding my pocket. lift up. I'm gonna keep my lower knee and ankle on the ground. I'm gonna lift up my entire top leg, including my foot. I'm gonna bring my hips forward. So we're doing a big hip thruster, but we're also lifting up and abducting. Lift the legs. Back down. Lift. Up and forward. Back and down. Up and forward. Back and down. You're gonna feel this in the hips a whole lot, both of them. Okay? You wanna make sure that we drop those hips back and move them forward. Okay? And at the same time, abduct both legs. So you're pushing this bottom leg into the ground, specifically the bottom foot and heel, and that'll really get those glutes firing. Don't go fast. We're not trying to do this. We don't want to get into a little clamshell. We're leaving the feet down. Don't get lazy. Lift and bring it forward. Okay? So we're going to do 6 to 8. 6 to 8 to maybe 10 on the first warm-up set, especially if you get the weight and you start feeling it in your low back. That's kind of a signal to stop that our hamstrings and glutes, or maybe even our core is getting a little tired. So don't do 1,000 reps here. Don't be going reps. I'd rather go heavier and really hammer down on core and make it almost mentally exhausting. And then we're going to do 12 each side on the hip thrusters. So go right, left, just alternate those. Okay, and then catch your breath. We'll get back on. Have fun. Okay, to finish this out, we're going to do a cardio move. We're going to kind of get that heart rate up. We're going to really pour after it. So we're going to do a very short bout. Depending on what you have, we chose the VersaClimber. When I say we, I chose the VersaClimber. It's pretty brutal. If you got one of these, go for it. We're at 200 feet as fast as you absolutely can. Just go all out, balls to the wall. Okay. If you have a bike, make it a short sprint, something under 30 seconds, maybe even 20 seconds. A sprint you can do, that's fine. Just something that's very intense to get your heart rate up. If you're working, if you have an injury on your lower body, you're sprinting, jumping, things like that are not available, grab a med ball, slam it down. Jump rope works great for this. You can do all sorts of things. You can shadow box, just ones and twos, just something to get your heart rate up. And then immediately we're going into lunges. Okay, we're going to do traveling lunges, walking forward. We're just going to do 6 each side. We're going to alternate. We're going to go left, right, right. Okay, when we lunge, I have a little specific request. Everybody kind of has a different definition of what lunge looks like and feels like. You can do it a couple different ways, but then still maintain some of the basic rules. We're always going to step out. So I'm going to step out with my left leg first. It looks like the right to you, but we're going to step out with my left leg first. When I step out with my left leg, I'm also going to step out to the left a little bit. Not much, maybe 5 degrees, especially for ladies. We want to clear that QA so that you can really have a straight ahead femur. So I'm going to step out just a little bit to the left. Okay, I'm going to load this hip. Now, the more I lean my torso forward, again, having a straight spine, proud chest, but leaning forward, I'm going to load this hip and glute back here. If I sit back and I'm more upright, I'm going to be loading more of this quad here. Neither one's right or wrong, they're just different. Okay, so what do we want to hit? We're focusing on glutes today, so I'm coaching everybody to lean forward. You want to sit up a little bit more? Man, that's awesome. Do that for sure. Okay? Then we're going to go to the other side. Again, stepping out a little bit to that right. Step with the right, load the hip. Then out to the left a little bit. So you'll have a little side step diagram. We're going to get some leg fan. That's why we're only doing 12 of these. Is because you come off that cardio piece, move the other way, get you some dumbbells and push it. Try to go heavy. We don't want to swing it around. We don't want our knees caving around anywhere. So keep your good form. Get that core tight, grind out, and get some